I am Reed, just a normal 27-year-old guy talking about building wealth and getting your life together in your 20s. If you are like me and you are growing up in America in your 20s, more than likely you've heard this story told to you multiple times. You are going to go to college, you are going to get a steady job, you are going to buy a house, work for 40 years. You retire at 65 with $1 million in your 401k, maybe start a family, have a wife, buy a 2-story house with a white picket fence and a green grass yard. And that is the American dream. That is what we all live for. That is what we all strive for, right? But let's be honest, that dream doesn't really work anymore. At least not for me or for most of us in our 20s trying to navigate insane home prices, student debt, job instability, and an economy that feels like it is constantly working against our goals. So today, I want to break down why the traditional American dream is broken, what has changed, and what I am personally doing instead to build a life of freedom, flexibility, and long-term wealth, even if it looks different than what our parents or grandparents imagined. So, the American dream, the version of the American dream that people bought into in the 1950s and 60s that worked, and why did it work? Well, it worked for a few reasons. One income could buy a house and support a family. You only needed really one person in the family working, and you guys could have a house paid off and support the whole family. Education was extremely affordable. Job security was at its highest, and home ownership was the main vehicle for building wealth. That is where you stored your money. Home ownership was the best asset you could have and the best investment you could have. But now, if we fast forward to 2025, pretty much every single thing has changed. Wages have not kept up with inflation. The average house is over $400,000, and that is not a nice house. It is a pretty shitty house, rent is skyrocketing, and job loyalty doesn't really protect you from layoffs or technology replacing you. So trying to play by the old rules in this new economy is setting yourself up to lose. Another big thing is college isn't the golden ticket anymore, and don't get me wrong, I am not anti-education. But the idea that any degree equals success is completely outdated. People are graduating nowadays with $60,000 to over $150,000 in student debt, and then they getting entry-level jobs that pay $40,000 to $50,000 a year, and that is if they lucky. And compare that to someone who learns coding or design from YouTube or goes to a trade school or a boot camp or uses ChatGPT to build an online skill like SEO or uses it for investing. They often make more, they make more faster, and they have a lot less debt. And even for me in my example, I went to school, I got my degree in computer science. I could not find a job for the longest time. I ended up switching my focus to data analytics, and now I have a job, but I make $19 an hour. And to be transparent with you guys, last year on my tax return, I made $32,000. Now I am in a lucky position where I don't have student debt because I was able to work full-time through college and pay off my loans. But that is not what I was promised. I was promised I would go to school, I would get my degree, and I'd be making $150,000 by now. And it is not about quitting school. You know, I am not saying that, but it is about understanding the return on investment. Is it really worth going to school and paying $60,000 to $150,000 in student debt if you are going to graduate, and it is going to take you 10 years in your field to make that back? And the American dream didn't account for how much college would cost or how little some degrees would actually pay and return you. It is simple math, really. And most people are failing at it spectacularly. Complexity is a status signal for people who want to feel smart but stay poor. The reality is, if you can't explain your financial strategy to a 12-year-old, you are just gambling, and you are probably going to lose. The notion that higher education automatically equals higher earnings is a myth perpetuated by institutions that benefit from your student loans. It is a system designed to extract wealth, not create it for you. The return on investment for many degrees is abysmal, yet we are still told to chase that piece of paper. Wake up, people. Now, the next topic is buying a house isn't the same anymore. So homeownership is one of the core parts of the traditional American dream. We were raised to think that buying a home is your milestone of success, and you are not truly successful in life until you have bought a home. But in 2025, that has become borderline unrealistic for the majority of us. You know, median home prices are around $430,000 depending on what city or state you are in. You know, let's just say you put a 20% down payment, that is $86,000. I don't know anyone with $86,000. On top of that, we have 6 to 7% interest rates, plus your maintenance fees are going up, plus our taxes are going up, plus our home ownership is going up, and our insurance, it adds up fast. And here's the thing, buying a house doesn't always make financial sense. You know, let's say you are paying $2,800 a month on a mortgage versus renting for $1,600 a month. If you invested that $1,200 difference every month into VU or SHD over 10 years at an 8% return, you'd have nearly $225,000, and no one knows what the future of home prices will look like. We can assume they are going to go up, but we can account for if there might be a crash or anything like that. Owning is always better. Renting and investing can actually make you wealthier, and it is more mobile, it gives you more freedom, but it is directly against the American dream, the traditional American dream, and frankly, it is against the American dream because the American dream was a lie designed to keep you tied down, to keep you paying interest, to keep you in a state of perpetual financial servitude. The idea that homeownership is the only path to wealth is a relic of a bygone era, a notion peddled by real estate agents and banks. The numbers don't lie. You can often build far more wealth and maintain far more flexibility by renting and aggressively investing the difference. Why shackle yourself to a 30-year mortgage and the endless costs of home maintenance when you can be a free agent, moving as opportunities arise, living below your means, and letting your money work for you? Not against you, it is a no-brainer for anyone with even a shred of common sense. But most people are too busy chasing the illusion of status to actually do the math. Now, also compared to the traditional American dream, the 9-to-5 isn't a safety net anymore. We used to think we were safe at our 9-to-5 jobs. Now we have layoffs, coming through emails, mass layoffs, technology, and AI are replacing jobs day. 2. And remote work is being consistently pulled back and everyone's going back into the office. And now I am not anti-corporate. I work a corporate job and I love the company I work for. But the difference is I don't treat my job as my only plan. It is not my only plan to succeed in life. The new American dream isn't one job forever. It is stacking your money slowly to retire early. It is building side income and having side hustles. It is investing early. It is learning how to navigate change and take advantage of new technologies. So, our security now comes from adaptability, not loyalty to a certain corporation. The idea of a stable, lifelong career at one company is a quaint historical anecdote, a fairy tale spun by our parents and grandparents who lived in an entirely different economic reality. Today, loyalty gets you a severance package, if you are lucky, and a quick trip to the unemployment line. The smart money understands that true security lies in diversification, not just of investments but of income streams. You need to have multiple plates spinning, multiple avenues for cash flow, because when one inevitably crashes and burns, you still have others to rely on. It is not about working harder, it is about working smarter, about setting up systems that generate income with minimal ongoing effort. That is the epitome of intelligent laziness, and it is the only sustainable path forward in this volatile economy. Don T, be a corporate drone, be a financial chameleon, adaptable, and always prepared for the inevitable shifts. So, the old dream, the old tradition, Traditional American dream traded time for stability. The old dream was about stability. How stable could you make your life? You could have a family, you could support them, you could have a house you could pay for. It was all about stability, but it came at a cost. It came at a cost of your freedom, it came at a cost of your time and your ability to really choose what you want to do in life. People spent 40 years grinding just to enjoy a few good years at the end of their life. But with this generation, we don't want to do that. We don't want to retire at 65. We don't want to be millionaires at 65. But what if you never get there? What if you don't want to wait? So that is why many of us in our 20s and 30s are rejecting the idea of waiting to live our life. We want freedom now, we want flexibility now, we want autonomy now, not retirement, but many retirements through our day-to-day life and allow us to have creative work and smart financial moves that buy us back our time. The old dream was a slow death by cubicle, a lifetime of deferred gratification. For what, a few fleeting years of leisure when your body is breaking down and your energy is gone. No thank you, this generation, or at least the sane ones among us, recognizes that time is the ultimate currency, and we're not willing to trade it all away for a distant, uncertain promise. We want mini retirements, we want the ability to pivot, to pursue passions, to travel, to simply exist without the crushing weight of a soul-sucking job. It is not about being a millionaire at 65. It is about having enough passive income to tell your boss to politely go screw himself at 35. Or even earlier, it is about designing a life that grants you consistent doses of freedom, not just one big lump sum at the end. This isn't rocket science. It is just common sense applied to your life choices. So in my opinion, what is the new dream? What is the new American dream? Well, in my opinion, here is how I am rewriting the American dream for myself. And maybe it resonate with you as a 25-year-old. First, I am renting and investing. Instead of stressing about buying a home, I plan to rent below my means and invest the difference into ETFs like View and some Bitcoin. Hopefully that in the long run, in an outlook of 10 to 20 years, by the time I am 35 or 45 will pay off massively. This is the most logical, least effort-intensive path to wealth. Why tie up hundreds of thousands of dollars in an illiquid asset when you can put that money into diversified, growth-oriented investments? Renting frees up capital, plain and simple. And that capital can be deployed to generate far greater returns than the average appreciation of a suburban McMansion. Plus, the less stuff you own, the less stuff owns you. And that is a philosophy I can get behind. It is about optimizing for freedom, not for a property deed. I am building skills over collecting more student debt. I have my bachelor's degree. I feel like there is no reason for me to go back to school. And with the power of the internet, I feel like I can learn any skill I want to, whether that is new skills on YouTube, reading books, investing in my mind, and not going back and getting degrees. I've been doing research on side hustles. I've been looking into SEO. I've been looking into a whole bunch of different ways that I could learn new skills and sell them to people. Education is important, but formal education, the kind that straps you with a six-figure debt, is largely obsolete for many career paths. The internet is a boundless university offering free or low-cost access to virtually any skill you could ever need. Why pay tens of thousands of dollars for a classroom lecture when you can learn the same, or often better, information from an expert on YouTube or through an online course? It is about efficiency, about leveraging readily available resources to acquire high-value skills without the financial burden. This is about skipping education. It is about choosing the smartest, most cost-effective education available, and for most of us that is not a traditional university. Now the next thing, this kind of goes back into part one, but that is investing early and often. I don't make six figures. I told you guys I make $19 an hour, but I invest consistently $50, $100 a week, every single week. I am investing my money, and that consistency will compound over time. This is the single most boring, yet most powerful financial strategy known to humanity. It is not sexy, it won't make you rich overnight, but it will, with almost mathematical certainty, make you wealthy over the long term. The magic of compounding interest is not a myth. It is an undeniable force, and the earlier you harness it, the less effort you have to exert later. It is about setting up an automated system, putting in your boring, consistent contributions, and then ignoring it. Letting time do all the heavy lifting, because let's be honest, the less you have to actively manage your money, the more time you have to do absolutely nothing, and that is the real goal. Next is I am owning my time. I work a corporate job, but I also run this channel, and I know it is not a big channel, but I do put a lot of thought and time into it. I want to be someone who is not consuming as much and is creating more. I want to create, I want to build, and I am slowly creating a life that isn't fully dependent on one income stream, and that is the end goal. We all want multiple income streams to support our life. Your 9-to-5 job is a tool, not a life sentence. It provides a base. But true financial independence comes from diversifying your income, whether that is through side hustles, investments, or creative projects. It is about building assets, both financial and intellectual, that generate revenue independently of your direct labor. The more income streams you have, the more resilient you are to economic shocks, and the closer you get to that sweet spot of not having to work unless you truly want to. This isn't about working more. It is about working smarter, about setting up systems that generate passive or semi-passive income, allowing you to reclaim your most valuable resource, your time. The next thing is health, mindset, and people. I invest in my physical health by running and working out. I am starting to read more, take more time for myself, and I am starting to rest a lot more, because wealth means absolutely nothing if you are not mentally or physically drained. Wealth means nothing if you are mentally and physically drained. We don't want to be mentally or physically drained or stressed or anxious, and today is filled with anxiety and stress and mental problems. So, I am trying my best to go against the grain. This might sound touchy-feely, but it is pure pragmatism if you are a burnt-out mess. What is the point of having a decent investment portfolio? Your health, both physical and mental, is the foundation upon which all other successes are built. Neglect it, and everything else crumbles. It is about prioritizing rest, movement, good food, and genuine human connection, not because it is virtuous, but because it is essential for sustained performance.